arms, even when you're a journalist. You have to put your cameras away at some point and try to save a friend.
Of the fight for freedom in Uganda.
This is a dictator that came by the gun, and he's on record to say that he must go by the gun. Where there is a campaign rally, that's a battlefield set. Hit by a tear gas canister, and his head was shot. Opened fire onto Bobi Wine's car. Full-time war. So you must be ready to fight all the time.
I want this message to go to President Museveni. I am challenging you to a free and fair election.
Somebody had to speak for us. People thought I had the loudest voice.
I am not a criminal. I am a presidential candidate.
Nothing will stop him.
We must get our freedom or we shall die trying.
Stay strong amidst so much violence.
Uganda cerró su jornada electoral en medio de un bloqueo total de Internet, protestas, denuncias y arrestos. Principal opositor Bobi Wine, quien ha denunciado que hubo fraude y que está bajo arresto domiciliario.
Decenas de militares rodearon la casa de Wine.
What motivated you to join Bobi Wine and document his struggle?
First, I was inspired by his zeal and determination to challenge the status quo. Look, Bobi Wine was already there, if I might put it like everyone does say. He was already at a status at a superstar status that he would really not need anything else. But he put that aside, and he knew that challenging a dictator that has been in charge of a country for over 40 years, and this is not just any other dictator. This is a dictator that came by the gun, and he's on record to say that he must go by the gun. So Bobi Wine puts out, rallies people, tells them the truth, the reality of life, and he knows that actually this comes at a cost where his shows are going to be blocked, and actually they were blocked. A cost where he puts his life in danger, and then there was, I won't say no one telling the story, but I felt like my talent, my profession would come in handy at the time. So I offered myself to document this story because I felt like someone had to tell the story to the world.
What was the most impactful moment you captured during Bobi Wine's campaign?
Well, that's a little bit challenging because I cannot for sure say that there was a specific moment, because every moment was different. Yeah, and every moment had its own story to tell. So I would say the whole entire campaign trail, the whole entire campaign period, even sometimes before the campaign, because we started telling Bobi Wine's story in 2017, and together with other colleagues, we kept documenting until about 5 years, after 5 years when we released this. So challenging Museveni's government is a full-time war. So you must be ready to fight all the time, yeah? And at this time, I cannot tell you that there is this specific time, there is this, because I have footage of people being shot at. Like someone loads their gun, cocks it, and shoots at the crowd. There is times when I've seen a friend who was just right next to me being hit by a tear gas canister and his head was shattered open. I have seen a time when officers opened fire onto Bobi Wine's car, live ammunition. So I cannot tell you that there's a specific time, because every day is a battle. Every day is a different battle. It's a different battlefield set. Where there's a campaign rally, that's a battlefield set. There is going to be ammunition flying all over. There's going to be tear gas. There's going to be beatings. There's going to be arrests everywhere. So I cannot for sure say there is this specific time that was impactful, but all through the whole entire campaign was impactful during the campaign. Yeah, sure.
Of course, it must have been incredibly hard to stay strong amidst so much violence.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very, very challenging. Sometimes when I close my eyes, and maybe when I'm asleep, I still get those flashbacks. You can imagine someone you've shared lunch with 10 minutes ago has been run over by a military truck and is dead in your arms, you know? Even when you're a journalist, you have to put your cameras away at some point and try to save a friend. I cannot want to remember the day Frank died in our sight, because this gentleman was hit by a military truck, then it ran over him and reversed, you know? And at this point, I did not know what to say. I did not know how to react. I did not know what to do, but it was in our sight. It was right in front of us. So these are moments we cannot really forget, but with time, I hope we shall get over it.
Because not everyone is who they claim to be. They trip you up with twisted tongue and double speak to interrupt and to corrupt your energy. No, no, don't just succumb to the games they play.
And please tell me, how did witnessing and document the repression faced by Bobi Wine and his team affect your personality?
Thank you, Renata. You know, I am human, and all the side effects that come to people after war experiences have come to me. I saw my colleagues being killed, my friends being shot at, others dying in my sight, others jailed till to date. We were arrested and tortured several times. I, for one, was arrested and beaten to pulp, only to be released days later. While I couldn't even support myself, I had to use walking crutches for about 6 months. I have all these PTSD effects, but what can I do? It is something we have to deal with by ourselves, because even then, even if we try to seek therapy and all that, the healthcare system in our country is not set to cater for that. They don't care about what you go through for as long as they're comfortable. Renata, I must tell you for sure that our leaders here in Uganda are so much disconnected from reality of the people, of the population they lead. So we live two different lives, and it's unfortunate that we are on the negative side of the integer.
It's incredible how you manage to keep going despite so many personal hardships.
You see, challenging a dictator here, even then, even when you're a journalist, you must, it comes as a sacrifice. I think world over, we've seen it in other countries. I can't mention other countries, but here in Uganda, even when you're a journalist and you are on the side of, you are actually documenting the side that is against the dictator, you must know it comes as a sacrifice. You must do it as a sacrifice. So we made the choice. I personally made the choice to document and tell this story, and I am ready to take on all the effects, all the prices that have to be paid to do this. I know sometimes it puts my life in danger, but then if I don't, who will tell this story? I have to tell the story.
What challenges did you face while trying to capture image in such a dangerous and controlled environment?
Of course, Renata, my sister, as a journalist world over, work becomes easier when one is let to freely exercise their duties as a journalist. But in all this is fantasy here in Uganda. You either support the government or report anything in support of the ruling government, or you're ripped all the privileges as a journalist and all your rights as a journalist. I've had to deal with challenging situations while working, such as in such a controlled environment. In Uganda, you're deprived of the chance to film or project or report any undisputed news. Otherwise, you risk jail or even worse. I mean, it could even be death, my sister. So the challenges that we faced are not any challenges any journalist would face. Here, it means you put your life at risk, you put the life of your loved ones at risk, you put your work at risk because you're unemployable. First of all, other media houses, other companies cannot employ you, because even then the government will reach out to them and tell them, look, you're employing, sometimes they call us hooligans, sometimes they call us terrorists. So we're up to it. We are only now it's streamlined to film this and tell this story, and maybe it will pay off. Otherwise, all our other channels of income have been blocked. You cannot say do any other gig apart from what we're doing, and it's a big challenge because we have to support our families, we have to support our loved ones, we have to cater for bills. But look, these people make sure that you are not even employable anywhere else. That's a very big challenge. If you are actually not detained or jailed or arrested and tortured or even killed.
An improvised layer of difficulty to your work, I imagine capturing the truth in those conditions takes a lot of courage. So
Yeah.
how did you manage the risk of being detained or attacked while working?
Well, Monta, I would not say I survived, because I've been to the jailhouse several times for just being a journalist or for just being a videographer or filming Bobi Wine. However, all you must know is that here, survival at most times is only for the smartest. You have to devise all means to make sure you stay safe from police and the government forces for as long as you're covering Bobi Wine. We sometimes have to spend nights, days in hiding. After police, I remember, I will give you a scenario. After 2018, when they shot Bobi Wine's driver and killed him in a city called Arua in northern Uganda, as a media team lead, my team was asked to profile the officers we saw there. So we did that, and in retaliation, police declared us wanted. Yeah, so journalism in Uganda is a crime, and those that do it and are not siding with the side of the government are declared criminals and sometimes charged for doing that.
Is there any image you decide not to publish due to its potential impact or danger?
It's just an image, rather images and videos enough to make yet other 2 or 3 even longer documentaries. Most of the work and images that we published were undertaken through a series of screening to be sure it is suitable for viewers. Most of the work and footage we collected while filming Bobi Wine cannot be published because of the graphic content and bloodshed. So to be sure that what is published is not even half brutal than the published. Some of the footage could not be published following requests from family members of the victims to protect their privacy and out of fear for harassment from the government.
Andrew, how do you believe your photographs have influenced global perception of the fight for freedom in Uganda?
First, I am very sure the photographs and videos that we take have had a very big impact on the global perception of the fight for freedom in Uganda. Like Bobi Wine always says, they have guns, we have cameras. The world is now aware of what is happening in Uganda as opposed to what the government, PR or public relations tries to sell to the world. Our rulers can no longer deceive to the world that they organize free and fair elections because that's a fantasy in Uganda, or even that they protect rights of that they protect human rights and separation of dissent to stay in power. Now the world knows because we have documented it and put it out there for the world to see. It's the photographs and videos that have spread this truth and reality viral and wide.
Can you share any story that has not been widely known about Bobi Wine or his team during the campaign?
Yes, absolutely. Why not? Some of these stories be funny because now, as Bobi Wine's team, we've become a family.
Yeah.
But some of these stories do not even remind us of not good memories that we have. But the one thing that people did not know is that we would actually go for sometimes days and nights without a meal, since police sometimes use this as a tactic to drain our energy. The shocking bit is that the team was never under any payroll and everyone was doing their work under minimal supervision, maximum pressure, but still fall in line and do their work voluntarily without pay. Now, this was the one thing that the news agencies never told the world. Like, this is actually a people's revolution. It's the people that actually come. You're on a rally, say, I'm just giving you a case study, at a certain rally, and someone comes and donates a car, someone comes and donates posters, someone comes and says, okay, I'm going to take charge, I'm going to pay for all the billboards, so the news agencies would say, okay, there's to tell the whole entire world that this is a people's revolution. This is a people revolution, and as opposed to the now other NRM, the National Resistance Movement that is in government now, that uses taxpayers' money to sometimes police would raid our hotel if they actually allow us a chance to sleep. And but these ladies, so I was telling you, these people would go days, nights without pay, and this is really not something I personally would take for granted, and I feel their story should be told still to the world, that this is how the revolution is running. And then it's quite unfortunate that their victory was robbed, but you never know until God makes that decision. We shall indeed come to victory.
How do you feel seeing some of your photos featured in international media and in the documentary Bobi Wine's The President People?
I feel absolutely great and proud. I mean, I am so much grateful, and honored. My confidence is elevated knowing that I added the little I could at such a dangerous time to do so to tell the story that shed light on the atrocities unleashed on the population of Uganda by its government. Maybe when the struggle is over, I will also wear the victor's crown. Yeah.
I know you will. I know you will, and I want to be there when that happens.
Inshallah.
What do you hope people will feel or think when they see your photos about the struggle for freedom in Uganda?
Well, I do not know what to think, but I pray that it gives hope and energy to the people that see these photographs in international media to stand up and speak up and act or react against the bad governance, the embezzlement, the corruption, the gross violation of human rights, and all other atrocities unleashed on Ugandans by the government. I hope that they know that they too have a role to play to put an end to the bad governance and dictatorship, not only here in Uganda, but all over the world. Because I, for one, think we have set an example, and I hope the people, especially the young people, get to realize that it's upon them to redeem their country from the ugly fangs of bad rule and gross violation of human rights. And the time is now. They don't have to wait for any other time. The time is right now. Whether you're a journalist, we are affected the same, guys. We are all affected the same. If you go to the supermarket and prices are high, you will buy these things at the same price. If there is no unemployment, you might be unemployed, but your brother is not, your sister is not, your mother is not, So we all have to stand up, we all have to speak up, use what you have and speak up against bad governance all over the world.
Exactly. I love that. And obviously your work, but what do you reflect on the crucial role photographers and journalists play in exposing repression in countries like Uganda? And how do you cope with the fact that you risk your life to ensure the world knows this reality?
Photographers and journalists being the eyes and ears of the public in revolutions like the one in Uganda play a vital role in informing the public, and therefore must be treated with dignity, and their rights must be respected so they can execute their roles and duties uninterrupted and undisputed. Journalists in such environments must also know how to protect themselves and be aware that it is a life risk that needs the same preparation that a soldier that is going to the front line in a war needs. So they must be up to it.
La historia de Andrew es importante por sí sola porque narra la experiencia y las vivencias de un ciudadano ugandés que tomó el liderazgo y la valentía para enfrentar a un régimen, haciendo suyo una responsabilidad como ciudadano de liberar a su país de la opresión, luchar por la libertad y una democracia, pero también nos muestra el verdadero ejemplo de cómo es utilizar los recursos que tienes a la mano para impactar en cualquier cambio o efecto social, político, hasta cultural. Así que la historia de Andrew es particularmente cautivadora por sí sola, porque no está respaldado por ninguna cadena de medios internacional, por supuesto menos una cadena de medios nacional. Y no es lo mismo tener la valentía de tomar tu cámara y salir a la primera línea de fuego solo. Estas historias nos hacen crear una reflexión y una crítica real. Así que cada minuto de esta entrevista, escúchala, piénsala, reflexiónala y compártela, porque esa es la finalidad de tener a un invitado de esta talla en La Otra Cara. Un espacio en donde no hay represión, no hay censura, solo verdad. es el espacio disponible precisamente para estas figuras que, como Andrew, no tienen el respaldo de, en este caso, su propio gobierno. Quédense, disfrútenlo y bueno, quién sabe cuál sea la próxima cara que veremos.